In the summer of 1989, I came out to myself in the course of a conversation with a friend, resulting in divorce, going into therapy to stay on the course of identifying as lesbian. January 1990, I came out officially. My name is Annette Hatton, and I started GLOBES. After several months, I attended my first monthly lesbian social group, Potluck. But LSG consisted of Athens and Oconee County lesbians, a few of whom worked or taught at UGA. And it became really important to me to have this group. AGLA, Athens Gay Lesbian Association on campus, the student gay group, wasn't enough. Nancy McNair, a friend, told her what I wanted to do, and would she please tell me the person who could help start such a group. UGA staff and faculty surely required one. I needed one. She directed me to Vernon Wall, who worked in UGA housing, and who took me downstairs at Tate and showed me how to sign up for meeting rooms in Lower Tate. So we posted flyers at Tate Plaza and held the first UGA Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual meeting on May 17th, 1994, lunchtime, in a Lower Tate room with a door and blinds that we could close on the one window. In those days, that was a very necessary kind of thing. Of course, the fact was that no one was out to the public, but notes for the monthly meeting were posted, mainly by me. And in subsequent meetings, we hammered out our name, GLOBES, for gay, lesbian, bisexual employees and supporters.
Hi, my name is Carol Caden. I did a bunch of research for the first ever queer history tour of Athens called Queer Space, and a lot of that research had to do with the beginning of GLOBES as well as the beginning of CGE and other queer groups in Athens. I was interested about queer history because there was a lot of controversy over the beginning of the pandemic when a lot of businesses were closing, and two spaces that were considered safe spaces for the queer community had closed. And I wanted to understand what the history of dance, especially in Athens, was, what the history of queer spaces were, as people in the community were talking about which spaces we should go to and which spaces we shouldn't go to. I really wanted to understand the history because whenever you can't figure out an answer in the present, it's important to look to the past to see what happened and what we can learn from. What I learned is that we never stop fighting. We always make space. We find it somewhere or we make it ourselves. And I think that has been a really cool thing to observe and watch as I've lived here over the past 5 years, just seeing where queer people have made space and where they refuse to let it go.
GLOBES was ambitious. We put out a monthly publication called Friends and Family, for which Nancy and I combed downtown businesses to buy ads in. We invited notable names, such as Alison Bechtel of Dykes to Watch Out For, to come speak, and were able to pay them. GLOBES early on started participating in Atlanta Pride marches, usually in June, behind an Athens Pride banner. Early on, a week before Boy Baton Ball at 40 Watt, we would book the UGA Pavilion looking over Lake Herrick for a potluck, inviting the LGBT community. and some elected officials, and sell annually dated Athens Pride t-shirts. After several years of celebrating Athens Pride this way, GLOBES decided to call a meeting of all the organizations in Athens that had anything to do with LGBT folks and see if Athens would like to take it on. They did.
Hi, I'm Marissa Chastain. I'm the Vice President of Athens Pride and Queer Collective. We previously were just Athens Pride. We merged with the Queer Collective to bring back together that partnership, and that was just a really huge deal for our organization and just for the visibility and affirmation of queer communities here in Athens. The biggest challenges that we face are probably with, especially this year, there's been some really harmful legislation being passed that restricts access for trans individuals to receive the care and the affirming surgeries that they need.
So I was on the board last year, which was 2021 to 2022, and the most rewarding things for me were definitely advocating for trans healthcare. Something that really resonated with me the first time I interviewed Annette was her quote saying, "I didn't have community, and so I was selfish, and so I made it for myself." Collective forces are so important, especially with the queer community. We need to work together to make things happen, despite what other people may tell us, despite what people may protest, despite what the government votes on to try to eradicate us. We cannot do anything on our own. I just learned the power of a collective force.
Around 2005, there was an anti-gay marriage law to be voted on. People from GLOBES and elsewhere got organized with phone calling and door knocking and defeated the bill.
We are going to be met with protests and things like that, but we come prepared, and we know that the power of love is always going to overcome the power of hate. You know, at our first Pride Parade, we were expecting a few hundred people. We really had no idea that over 3,000 people were going to show up that day and come out in support. It was honestly overwhelming in the best kind of way. It was so joyful, and just seeing so many people be in a space where they could really be themselves and really feel seen and heard and celebrated, it was incomparable. I mean, just absolutely overwhelming.
Annette has really inspired me too, because she came out a lot later in her life. She came out when she was around 50 years old. And it just reminds me that we're all on our own queer journeys. We're all figuring things out. We can evolve, we can change, and we can work together to make places what we want them to be, to dream of the places we want.
Find your community. Find the people that love you and make you feel seen and respected and loved for exactly who you are. And then create that for other people. Be that person that lifts someone up and lets them know that they're loved and that they're amazing and that they're perfect just how they are.
And I think for Athens, I really dream of a physical space for the Athens queer community. If you don't see yourself in movies, TV shows, history books, things that are given to you, go out and seek it, go out and research it for yourself.
For one thing, it's hard to know, to realize that the results of starting something up can end up having a larger, wider influence. What am I most thankful for? The changes that have taken place since 1994. The knowledge that it's really okay to be gay.